Too late for Atiku to use Chicago University records against me in Nigerian election tribunal, Tinubu tells US court. Welcome to Afreeze Concept TV. Let's go into the details. President Bola Tinubu says that Atiku Abubakar's attempt to obtain and use the Chicago State University (CSU) academic records against him at the Elections Petitions Tribunal was only a wild goose chase because the Nigerian court was no longer admitting evidence. In the presidential election held on February 25, Mr. Abubakar finished second with 6.9 million votes, trailing closely behind Mr. Tinubu, who had 8.7 million votes and was declared winner. But the discrepancies in Mr. Tinubu's credentials prompted Mr. Abubakar to approach the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois to subpoena CSU into releasing the president's records to aid his argument at the Elections Tribunal in Nigeria before September 21, when judgment is anticipated. Mr. Abubakar had sought a nullification of Mr. Tinubu's election triumph on the grounds of alleged electoral fraud, narcotics dealing, and election irregularities at the tribunal, where he also hoped to tender the CSU as evidence to substantiate his claims to provide a strong argument. But Mr. Tinubu, in his defense at the U.S. federal court, said it was unnecessary to release his records to Mr. Abubakar at this point, asserting deadlines for admitting any evidence in the Elections Tribunal elapsed in July. Furthermore, the evidentiary portion of the Electoral Court proceeding closed July 29, 2003, and a judgment is currently in the process of issuing. Exhibit 7 Report of Pre-Hearing Sections. Therefore, there is no indication that the Nigerian Election Court would receive any additional evidence. Mr. Tinubu asserted in his response to application for issue of discovery on August 23 through his lawyers, Chicago-based Charles Carmichael and Oluwole Afolabi. The president implied the case in Nigeria had advanced to the stage where all parties are awaiting judgment, and any submission of evidence by Mr. Abubakar would only contradict the court's order. Although Mr. Abubakar's counsel believes it can attempt to submit additional evidence that would be contrary to what the election court already ordered, argued Mr. Tinubu's lawyers. Based on the nature of the tribunal and the proceedings underway, the Electoral Court would not allow the material sought by the application to be admitted. Mr. Tinubu's lawyers contended that the main piece of information requested by Mr. Abubakar was whether the Nigerian leader had received a diploma and graduated from CSU, which the university registrar verified in his affidavit, and that the other pieces of information sought were irrelevant. The rest is immaterial, the lawyers stated. The president further blamed an unnamed university clerk for entering wrong information on his records, released to Nigerian lawyer Mike Enahoro Eba in August 2022 in response to a previous subpoena. CSU Registrar Caleb Westberg corroborated Mr. Tinubu's argument in a sworn affidavit, saying the institution's clerk, whose name was not given, had entered wrong details on Mr. Tinubu's records. But Mr. Westberg was cautious with his words, asserting the difference is likely the result of a human error. That the school registrar did not explicitly state it was an error, but instead used evasive and culpability free phrase such as is likely, under oath, was a dead giveaway that the school was unsure whether it was actually an error and was covering its tracks to avoid legal battles should the court detect malfeasance and file charges against the institution. My people, with the look of things, it seems it's like we what Atiku Abubakar was accusing our president of. It seems it wants to, it wants to be true, something like that. Because why would you decide to not present something if you are sure that, okay, oh, this is my certificate, and your opponent is saying, I need to see your certificate as proof that you went to school? You would want to like shock that person, you want to booga to that person and just present it. So it will be in record that I went to school, you did not go to school. That kind of thing. Like to an extent, you would want to flaunt it. But every day our president's mouth is changing from the school made a mistake, and now he's saying it's too late for you to use Chicago University records against me in Nigeria Election Tribunal. Like, was he scared initially? I need someone to answer me. Like, was he scared that they could use it against him because he did not really go to school, or because he forged a result? Not just results, he forged a whole certificate. You see this our country, it's like Netflix, when you just when like different stories every day, year and year. We've not even finished with Nnamdi Kanu's issue. Our president is saying another thing, that it's too late for someone to use university records against him. We need to know who our president is. So we need to know who our president is to the end. We really, really need to know who our president is. They should please help us dig out the truth. We need records. We need records. Let's know if our president went to school or not. Let's know if our president has been lying to us for the past over 70 days now. We really need to know. So moving on to our comment section, Brian says it's not too late. Tinubu's lawyers do not seem to realize that the other party can seek for leave of Supreme Court to depart from the rules and adduce fresh evidence not available during the trial of the tribunal. Preach, barrister, because we don't really know much about this. But then, Truthism is saying, not at this time again. Delivering the judgment is what everyone is awaiting. There is no court session or sitting regarding this issue again. So basically, the judges have already concluded, or the judges have already listened from to all parties, and they are in their final stage of discovering or concluding who our real president is, which will be coming up in September next month, 2023. So moving on to another comment, there is this person from Festus Tomike 01 says, jail INEC chairman, not Asiwaju, for accepting fake certificates. Maybe you would learn from it next time. Yeah, I think that's true. I think they should jail the INEC chairman, because that man caused all this. If he had just counted the right thing and not accept bribe in any form, if he had just done the right thing, we won't even be in this mess. We would have moved on from he's our president, he's not our president, no now. Dis matter don too long since February 2023. We're in August at the moment. It's been on for too long. They need to jail the INEC chairman and leave um Bola Ahmed Tinubu, so he would learn. And for people that are coming, or people that are looking up to him, that wants to behave like him, or that are thinking of behaving like the INEC chairman, they will have another thought and repent. So we've come to the end of today's discussion. Thank you for tuning in. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.